Uwan, also known as Fungwong, has made landfall in Aurora Province, about halfway between Belair and Casiguran, where this low-level center has come on shore here. You can see right around there. That puts Casiguran right in the right front quadrant, eye wall over Belair, and now this is edging towards the north and west, going to be tracking right over the Sierra Madre Mountains, which I think is kind of pushing up against it and causing it to wobble a little bit due to friction. But while that happens, it smacks right into those mountains there, and it's dropping a lot of rainfall. I'm meteorologist Robert Spett. Always do my best to keep you posted out here in the Western Pacific. Signal Force 5 in place for Aurora. Parts of the Cagayan Valley, Corino. Signal Force 4 out towards the west coast in Ilocos region, La Union, Pangasinan, Ilocos Sur. Meanwhile, we have heavy flood advisories, extreme levels into the NCR. That's going to be another issue with this. Not just the low-level center where this comes on shore, which, by the way, is an issue in itself. This is actually a video out of Catanduanes where it passed yesterday. I shouldn't say yesterday, earlier. And just super typhoon winds ripping out there. Absolutely incredible footage there. So, yeah, that's the big takeaway from this update. Of course, landfall taking place, strong winds near the low-level center, but flooding is still going to be an issue. We have seen videos of storm surge. Check out the Westpac weather page, because a lot of people, like, for some reason, are at the beach ahead of this, just like taking in the sights. And I've seen people kind of caught in the storm surge, and tragically, it looks like, you know, we're getting people hurt, maybe worse, because they're like not evacuating, but the opposite. They're like just going straight to the waterfront. Be smart. And this is even on the West Coast. We're still going to have to watch out for, you know, some potential impacts in places like Pangasinan, a little bit of a storm surge there. So at least it is weakening now. You see in the Dvorak analysis prior to landfall kind of dropping down a little bit. But weakening never means weak in a situation like this. And what I mean by that, it's still a strong storm, still packing a very serious punch here as it crosses over and heads off towards the west here. And then eventually it's going to turn towards the north and head towards Taiwan. But that point, it will be impacted by an abundance of shear that's just going to absolutely rip it apart here. So tracking across Aurora here next few hours. It's moving at a pretty decent pace. Could shift a little north, bringing heavy rainfall across parts of the Cagayan Valley. Exiting, probably it's going to exit right over Baguio and around San Fernando. That puts the northerly winds for Pangasinan coming in from the west as well over towards Subic as we go ahead overnight into tomorrow morning. And then Manila Bay, those winds also continue to wrap around. You could be seeing some like kind of coastal flooding in a few spots there too. And this is just a look at where this is tracked so far, and then that track on shore, and then crossing over Luzon. You see the time frame overnight, passing probably right around Baguio, still as a strong typhoon just after midnight. Everywhere in red indicating about 50 millimeters or higher, but you know, some spots you're going to see well over that. In fact, let's just jump over to our rainfall accumulation here from the ECMWF, and this is rain on top of what we have already got. And there are spots, you know, still on the Sierra Madres, 100 to 200 millimeters across the Cordillera Mountains, 102 to 300 millimeters Pangasinan. Manila is still going to be seeing, you know, 50 to 100 millimeters in spots. But the big issue, and the reason why there's that extreme level rainfall warning, and I know you've seen me do this a few times, all of this is the mountains, but the rain doesn't stay there. It goes, right? Goes into the valleys, goes down towards Manila, and that's going to be the other issue. And that's why, if we go back to this graphic, you have that extreme level flood advisory in place for a good swath because of those impacts. But at least Manila's not getting full-on typhoon strength winds, and I know that. I can verify that because at landfall, at least for the time being, max gust here at Manila at about 74 miles per hour, at least according to the airport there, and even Clark, 56, 57, not miles, kilometers per hour, 120 sustained is typhoon strength. So they're getting kind of tropical storm strength. Still enough to cause damage. And a lot of times it feels like people, they don't really understand the tropical storm strength winds. It's still Like, they see even Typhoon Cat 1, they think they've been in a Cat 4, and they see Tropical Storm, they think they're in a Cat 1, Cat 2. It's a lot stronger than you think, even if you've been through a lot of these storm systems. If the wind's coming just right and hit just right, it can cause some pretty serious issues here. So, but here's some saving grace with all of this. It's moving fast. It's getting out of here pretty quickly. And let me actually show you the timing here. So it's coming on shore right now. All right. Let's go ahead overnight, midnight. Like, this is, it just erases right across Luzon. And if you went to bed right now and woke up 8 hours from now, it'd be off the West Coast. Now, if you went to bed and you're in San Fernando, along the west coast of Ago here, you probably aren't going to be sleeping very well. It is going to be rough even over towards Baguio by the time we head overnight after midnight into early tomorrow. You know, this is gonna be picking up pretty quickly. In fact, this is just showing about 5-6 a.m. the worst of the weather, and actually like 2 a.m. in San Fernando there. So shout out to our friends in San Fernando. Beautiful spot right there, and oof, it's gonna kick up pretty rough even on the west coast. So you got the winds, but here's another thing: the core of it, the heart of this storm, missing Manila and the NCR. Man, our radar. The radars are not great in the Philippines. I know a lot of they're trying, but anyways. You can see the radar here showing that coming on shore. Big old eye, at least it looks rough on satellite, but it actually it looks kind of filled in. But there is a gap in the rain right there. And at least you don't have those heavier bands closer to Manila. So you're missing out on the core. Not over yet, but you are missing out on like the overall core and the worst of the weather. But I think Cat and Uwan yesterday probably got the absolute worst of this. So going to continue to track it now after landfall that crosses overhead. But we're still getting more videos coming out of this area, and I do appreciate everybody who's been sending them. If you see, anything crazy, send us a video. But please, for the love of God, don't walk out into a storm like this and put yourself in danger because you want to get the likes and clicks. Not just for, like, if you just want to put something on TikTok and there's flying debris and things like that, it's never worth it. And I get the feeling like some of the videos I've seen of people standing out there and in the surge, as the surge comes on shore, are those people, like, they all had their phones and they were ready to go and they wanted to get that epic shot. And we all want to see it, we all want to get it, but it's not worth it. These storms, especially with surges, 1 minute it'll be okay, and then the next minute those waves will come in hot. And if you're young, maybe you're new to that specific area, you've never been through that specific type of storm. And I know Filipinos have been through all the typhoons, I know, but sometimes you may have not actually been through like that type of setup in that location. They're always a little bit different, and it can surprise you. It's like if you're a boxer and you box all the time and you're like, I'm pretty awesome, and you come up against somebody who just has a unique technique and they knock you out, So just mind you, be smart out here, okay, friends? Yeah, you don't need my advice. I'm sure you all know it, but just a friendly suggestion. As always, though, number one thing is stay safe out there, and I'm going to continue to keep posting. I'm going to go and do a live here again. These lives have been going off pretty well the last few days, so I'm going to probably do a live update if you're watching this, and we'll talk storm, talk tropical coverage, and see the latest on what's happening here with Uwan. All right.